Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. We hear from students on their reaction to the potential transfer of their campus to the Texas A&M system that's coming up. And some members of Congress are trying to stop the president's new tariffs that are set to start tomorrow. Those details are just ahead. Plus, SpaceX launches more people into space as 2 astronauts are speaking to the public about their delayed return to Earth.
And for us, the warm weather we've had the last couple days is going to continue, with some of us possibly getting into the 90s, low 90s for the next couple days. But today, the breezy winds will begin before a front gets here this weekend, making it a bit cool. All that in the weather coming up.
The St. Joe baseball team are on a roll, extending their winning streak. We hear from 2 players about their recent game against San Antonio Christian. Coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now, Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a fun morning so far.
That's right. Today is National Fun Day. We had a little question the other day that was related to that.
Yes, and looking ahead, tomorrow is National Walking Day. Parker, is it going to be a nice day to walk in the park?
Unfortunately, probably not. It's going to be a little humid, a little bit breezy, and a little bit warm as well. So if you wanted to do some kind of walking or maybe a jog, do a morning jog, because it's still going to be humid in the morning time, but it's not going to be as warm and not as breezy. In fact, right now, if you're tuning in with us this morning, before the breezy winds get here, we're dealing with a little bit of fog. You can see some of that right here on your screen. It's really light right now in Nature and Victoria County, but we'll look at that fog map here in a second, because it's 71 right now in Victoria. A little bit of a warm morning before the day is even started. Dew point, though, let's talk about that. That's at a whopping 70 degrees. Middle of the summertime, like I was just saying a couple seconds ago. Summertime, the dew point's at like 77, so that is very high for the first day of April. But looking at your visibility map, as promised, you can see it's not just lightly foggy in Victoria, but we have it all around the crossroads, a little bit less so in the northern counties. And actually, I think this visibility map is underestimating what's really occurring out there. So just be careful if you see any dense fog. Why do we have fog right now? It's because the winds, they're very calm to very light right about now, coming out of the Gulf, out of the southeast, bringing in that humidity, which is letting it settle down to the dew point and the temperature. So if you're sending your kiddos at the door, or if you are, no need for a jacket. It's a little bit warm, and it'll be a warm afternoon and breezy. All those details coming up next.
On Monday, school resource deputies launched an investigation after finding a BB gun at Cade Middle School. Victoria County Sheriff's Office school resource officers got a tip about a possible weapon around 1:40 p.m. After talking with several students, they tracked down a backpack and found the BB gun inside. No threats were made and no one was hurt. No arrests have been made as deputies are still investigating. University of Houston Victoria students have mixed feelings about the possible transfer from the University of Houston system to the Texas A&M University system. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with some students at UHV to get their thoughts.
State Senator Louis Colkhorst, a Republican from Brenham, filed a bill March 12th to transfer the University of Houston Victoria to the Texas A&M University system. Numerous Victoria officials and leaders have voiced support of the plan. Senator Colkhorst released a statement last week saying under the A&M system, the campus will be able to offer degrees in areas like engineering and agribusiness that are not currently available in the area. UHV computer science student Elo Waduto says he understands the reasoning behind that.
If it's for the betterment of the school, then that's fine. If that's what the school needs to progress in any way, I have no problem with that.
Political science major Eliza Livingston says she has a neutral stance and is watching to see what the legislature decides, but says she sees the positive in more agricultural opportunities that could possibly attract more people.
I'm more curious to see how this will go.
Most of the UHV students we talked with are either for the transfer or undecided at this point. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Victoria County's Democratic Party is preparing to protest recent cuts to federal departments and spending. The Department of Government Efficiency is spearheaded by Tesla and SpaceX owner Elon Musk, and they've made several spending cuts and layoffs in federal departments. Protests are scheduled across the nation. The Democratic Party's Activism Committee is bringing the protest to Victoria, and it's led by Committee Chair Rebecca Bootson.
There's probably a lot of people here that are having the same concerns I'm having, so I thought it would be good to give an opportunity for others to voice their concerns. And I'm really hoping that it's one step closer to getting some resolution.
The county's interim Democratic Party chair also weighed in on the DOGE budget cuts to federal departments.
I've been concerned ever since Elon Musk was let loose in all of our departments with the young men that are basically computer hackers. They're not auditors, and they're going through all of our departments and making mistakes.
The protesters will meet in the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center parking lot from 1 to 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, April 5th. ExxonMobil will share information about their proposed project for Calhoun County. The project would bring a new plastic manufacturing plant to the coastal community. The facility would convert natural gas into key plastic ingredients. ExxonMobil invites the public to learn more this morning from 7:30 to 8:30 at the Victoria College Emerging Technology Complex in room 101A. A final scramble is underway ahead of tomorrow's planned unveiling of the president's sweeping new tariffs. It involves efforts to mitigate impacts, prepare retaliatory measures, and control messaging. The U.S. Senate is expected to take up a resolution aimed at blocking the tariffs on Canadian goods. Only a small handful of Republicans say they may join Democrats in supporting it, but others are voicing concerns. Countries including South Korea, China, and Japan are preparing to retaliate against the U.S. The NASA astronauts who spent nearly 300 days in space are now telling us for the first time what it was like to finally return home. It comes as another historic mission gets underway, this one with a cryptocurrency billionaire on board.
And liftoff. Overnight, a historic SpaceX mission blasting off from the Kennedy Space Center. The 4 civilian astronauts on board are set to become the first humans to orbit the Earth's north and south poles. Typically, orbits fly roughly parallel to the equator. The crew will also become the first to cultivate mushrooms in space. The company behind the experiment says mushrooms could be used as a sustainable food source for long-duration missions in the future to places like the Moon, Mars, and beyond. The mission, expected to take 3 to 5 days.
I had a good grilled cheese sandwich when I got home.
Meanwhile, Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, the astronauts who famously went into space for 8 days and ended up staying for 9 months, spoke to reporters for the first time since returning home.
I wanted to hug my husband and hug my dogs, and I'll say that in that order. But maybe not. No, I'm just joking.
Both marveling at the resilience of the human body.
Who would even imagine that you come back from 10 months in space, roughly 10 months, and within a week you run 2 miles at an 8-minute pace? I mean, that's not even conceivable that the body could handle that.
I actually went out and ran 3 miles yesterday, so I will give myself a little pat on the back.
Their epically long space adventure ensued after their original ride home from the space station. The Boeing Starliner had technical problems. Things got political when Elon Musk said his company, SpaceX, offered to bring the 2 home last year, but claimed the offer was declined by the Biden administration. The astronauts, speaking with ABC's Gio Benitez, distanced themselves from that controversy.
President Trump and Mr. Musk, I have no reason to doubt what they say. They've earned my trust. I don't doubt anything they say, but I can't make that comment. I can't say we were abandoned. We didn't feel that way.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
The president is not ruling out the possibility of seeking a 3rd term in the White House. The 22nd Amendment prohibits anyone from running for a 3rd term as president. In an interview, Trump acknowledged a scenario where Vice President Vance would run for office and then pass the role to Trump as a possible method to skirt the Constitution. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, should President Trump be allowed to run for a 3rd term? Now, when we started the show during the 5 o'clock hour, this was split right in half, 50-50. But now things have changed. 28% of you say yes, and 72% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time now, looking at our clock up here, it's 6:39 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. We learn about an international celebration of culture set to take place at the UHV campus.
I'm ABC's Perry Russum in Washington. 1 day to go until Trump imposes his reciprocal tariffs, but there are still many unknowns. That story coming up.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say it'll be a breezy day. That's right. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how breezy I think it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads. You're looking live and cloudy and slightly foggy Cuero right now. We're starting out the day at a slightly cooler 62 degrees. Everybody else, I say slightly cooler because everybody else is in the upper 60s and low 70s this morning. So Cuero, y'all a little bit cooler. Dew Point, though, 4 degrees off, still bringing us the high humidity of 89%, but that is just underneath the threshold for where you really start seeing some light fog. But some of us on the Crossroads, especially getting closer to the coast where it's more humid, is dealing with some fog. So just be careful if you see any of that this morning. Otherwise, whatever fog is out there right now, that'll clear up just like it did yesterday at around 9 or 10 a.m. But this time it's going to clear to some mostly cloudy skies. And we'll look at that in a second, because going into overnight tonight and also into tomorrow night, we're not going to be expecting any more fog. You can see we're nice and clear as a glass over there, or for all of us tonight. Why is that? Because it's still humid. Well, we're going to be picking up a breezy wind today, and you heard me talking about that all morning long. You can see this morning, not breezy at all, actually not even the slightest, gust up to maybe 10 miles an hour at times, but they will be picking up as we go into the afternoon time. Here's noon, you can see gust up to 20, but in the afternoon and all the way through Friday, actually a little bit on Saturday as well, we're going to be looking for gusts as high as 25 to 30 miles an hour. You can see that will continue into the overnight hours tonight. Here's midnight Wednesday morning, all the way through the day tomorrow and on Thursday, actually picking up a little bit on Friday for gusts up to 40 to 45 miles an hour on Friday. So a bit of a windy one there, but like I was just saying, whatever fog is out there right now, that is going to clear to some mostly cloudy skies, and that's going to stay around for the rest of the day. Maybe up until around sunset we'll pick up some partly cloudy skies, but we also have a very, very low 5% chance to maybe see a couple sprinkles. So if you see that today, you would happen to be very lucky, because very low chance. But otherwise, whatever sun peaks through the clouds today, it's going to only warm us up to about the low 80s with those breezy winds. Like I said, picking up a bit on Friday before a front gets here this weekend, and we'll look at that coming up next.
The St. Joe baseball team extend their winning streak to 5, and it came with a walk-off from Jonah Cantu. The victory in the district matchup against the San Antonio Christian was one that both Cantu and Aiden Argan were glad to grasp for the team.
To be honest with you, I knew it was full count. I knew the team needed me, and you know, we didn't really have a lot of hits today, but I knew I needed to come up big in a big spot for us. I think for us, we just got to keep playing our brand of baseball. We know that the season's not over. We still got a lot of fight left in us, so we just got to keep building on days like these.
You know, I'm satisfied, but we're still hungry. We're still hungry for more. We're in district play right now. We're playing good right now. We have a lot of wins under our belt. We're just building experience when it comes to playoffs, because we're going to get to playoffs and we want to win. Our mindset, we have a game tomorrow. We just want to put the bat on the ball and have some good pitching and play clean defense.
The St. Joe Flyers close out their season on the road against St. Augustine and San Antonio Christian. But that does it for your 25 News Now Sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
1 day to go until the president announces his tariffs on foreign countries. While the president argues they will bring revenue into the country, economists say the price of clothes, food, and electronics will go up. It's still not clear which countries the president plans to target.
With 1 day to go until President Trump announces his reciprocal tariffs for what he calls Liberation Day, major questions remain. Will any countries be exempt? How high will the tariffs be? And how long will they last?
They're reciprocal. So whatever they charge us, we charge them, but we're being nicer than they were.
Trump's tariffs escalating a trade war that most economists say will cost consumers more, raising the prices of what Americans buy on everything from clothing to food at the grocery store, including bananas, strawberries, and avocados.
We're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it dearly.
Trump argues the tariffs will create American manufacturing and boost revenue, but the economic uncertainty is leading Goldman Sachs to raise the probability of a U.S. recession in the next year to 35%, up from 15% last fall.
I think investors are going to be very nervous about all that, because that's the fodder for an economic downturn. Obviously, that's not good for business.
Some Senate Republicans appear to be skeptical of the tariffs.
Nobody knows. We're in uncharted waters.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he's waiting to see what's actually implemented. On the Senate floor overnight, Democratic Senator Cory Booker speaking for hours in a marathon protest speech against the Trump administration.
In just 71 days, the President of the United States has inflicted so much harm on Americans' safety, financial stability, the core foundations of our democracy, and even our aspirations as a people from our highest offices, a sense of common decency.
Later today, Senate Democrats plan to force a protest vote. They are trying to stop Trump from imposing tariffs on Canada. It has a chance to pass in the Senate, but will likely go nowhere in the House. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Now in its 10th year, the UHV International Festival celebrates the culture and traditions from countries around the globe, all right here in Victoria. The goal of the festival is to educate while celebrating. The festival will feature a number of cultural exhibits.
18 country booths such as Colombia, Egypt, Myanmar, Vietnam, just to name a few. We'll also have cultural performances. We have dancers and performers coming in to do samba, also belly dancing.
The UHV International Festival will take place Friday, April 11th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. inside the UHV University Center parking near the UHV University Center parking lot, and the event is free and open to the public. The time is now 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, we learn about the potential renovation and expansion of the Victoria Community Center. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Serenity. Happy 9th birthday from all your family. We hope you have a beautiful day that's just as beautiful as you are.
Oh, what a beautiful name, too. Happy birthday, Serenity. And another pretty name, happy birthday to Mika. Happy birthday to my beautiful sister. May God bless you with many, many more. Love you from Nikki, Zakari, Mom, Dad, Lee, and Jazzy.
Aw, don't forget about Jazzy. And Susan Boyle, who rose to fame after a show-stopping appearance on Britain's Got Talent in 2009, is 64.
Wow,
I remember that performance.
I was going to say that 2009. Happy birthday, Susan Boyle.
Pretty amazing.
And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, just head on over to crossroadstoday.com. Click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, the time is now 6:48 on our Tuesday morning. Happy birthday to Amanda, and to you if you're celebrating one today.
That's right. Happy birthday, Amanda, and happy birthday to you as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure if y'all probably just saw that 7-day forecast a few moments ago, you probably saw a lot of breezy icons on the forecast. Breezy today, breezy tomorrow, same on Thursday, and then windy on Friday, and another breezy day coming our way next week as well. But you also probably saw a cold front, and all that is going to lead me to today's weather poll. Today I ask you, do you like it, or what is it you do like or don't like about windy days? Earlier, most of y'all were saying you enjoyed the breeze, and I'm pretty sure we're still sitting at that. About 39%, I think, was the last guess I saw. But for future weather polls, always head on over to crossroadstoday.com/voteweather to participate. And you can see right there, just as I said, 39% still saying the breeze feels nice. I agree with you, honestly. 15% of y'all are still saying you like the sound of the wind. Y'all are still feeling nice and optimistic. But about 50% of y'all are saying feeling kind of pessimistic. Wind messes up your hair, and another 31% are saying it brings you allergies. But thank y'all for taking part in today's weather poll. For future ones, like I said, just go to crossroadstoday.com/voteweather, and I'll always read it on Sunrise. But this morning, where is all that breezy wind coming from and the cold front? Well, if we look at satellite, you can see we have a little bit of cloud cover moving over North Texas, and actually over the next couple of days, they're going to have some snow chances in the Panhandle. But all of these clouds are starting to pick up over our northern part of the state because we have a monstrous upper level low pressure system that is actually right now coming onshore over the western coast of Oregon and also northern parts of California, bringing them a atmospheric river into southern California where they actually really need the rain because they just had fires. But this big old low system, you can see spinning counterclockwise, will split into two separate lows over the next several days, upper level lows that is. And you can see that right here on the upper air tracker. First one will split off on the northern states, northern end of the Rockies going into tomorrow, Wednesday, bringing them a front and severe weather. But the second system, the remnants of the first low, will move off the southern Rockies going into later this weekend and bring us a cool front with a lot of that cold air coming off of the cold mountains. But you can see that right here on your future temperatures, breezy Gulf winds actually gusting up to 30 at times for the next several days, up to 40 to 45 on Friday, bringing us some more warm weather. But then here comes that front. That is going to plummet our highs down into the 60s for a few days. And we'll look at all that and more later on Sunrise.
The City of Victoria is informing its residents about a proposed venue tax to help fund an expansion and renovation to the community center. City officials held an information meeting Monday. The expansion and renovation project would include a new arena for rodeo events and concerts and improvements to the current arena and meeting rooms in the Dome. The May election will have the venue tax on the ballot, and that would help fund the project. The plan raises the city's portion of the hotel occupancy tax from 7% to 9%, making it a total of 13% when including other taxing entities. It also adds a 5% rental car tax in Victoria.
This has been a great opportunity to answer questions face to face, hear any concerns, or even just hear about people's excitement for the project. We're trying to be intentional with focusing on growing Victoria. At the end of the day, our community needs to grow in order for us to be more financially sustainable to do the day-to-day that we do.
The city has another information session scheduled from 1 to 3 p.m. on April 14th. The proposed venue tax is on the ballot for the May 3rd election. And if you plan to vote on this item or any others in May, here are some important dates. You must be registered by April 3rd. Early voting runs April 22nd through April 29th. Mail-in ballot applications are due by April 22nd, and Election Day is May 3rd. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. You may hear some loud noises around noon today. Find out why after the break. Expect some loud noises around noon today. First responders and area churches plan to sound sirens and ring bells today as April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. First responder vehicles will park at the Public Health Center. This is footage from last year's event. Hope of South Texas Children's Advocacy Center encourages everyone to set an alarm for noon today, and all drivers near the Public Health Center can sound their car horns too if you happen to drive by at noon. The slogan this year is "Don't be alarmed, be aware" about child abuse. More than 400 people have been rescued in Myanmar following a 7.7 magnitude earthquake Friday. The death toll in Myanmar has risen to over 2,700 people. In Thailand, the death toll has risen to 20. On Friday, 13 people in Bangkok died after a building under construction collapsed. China, Russia, and India have deployed to Myanmar to help with rescue crews. The Texas House Public Education Committee could propose a $1 billion spending cap for the first 2 years of a potential school voucher program and increase by $395 the base amount of money public school districts receive for each student. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on crossroadstoday.com. And now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker. Parker, how's that sunrise looking out there?
Well, it's looking a little bit cloudy right now. You can actually see here on the Port Lavaca camera, got lots of clouds over us this morning as the sun comes up, but it's a warm one, especially out there on the coast right now. It is 73 degrees. But the dew point at a whopping 73, matching the temperature, is bringing us high humidity, allowing for a little bit of fog. So be careful if you're traveling and if you see that. Otherwise, you can see we're all nice and warm out there, except for the northern counties. You're in the low and mid 60s this morning, so y'all might need a jacket. But you'll definitely take it off in the afternoon because here are your highs today. I'm thinking 81 in Port Lavaca, mostly cloudy all day long on the coast. I'm thinking a little bit of breaks in the clouds in the afternoon time in Victoria, high of 82 today. And if that's not warm enough, well, we're going to be warmer tomorrow and even warmer on Thursday with a very breezy wind gust, and then finally a front coming this weekend.
All right, well, thank you for being with us this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Make it a great Tuesday.
Good morning, America.